Schroeder-Bernstein theorem. Okay, Schroeder-Bernstein theorem. I have told you that the statement of the theorem, just if A is related to B and B is related to A, then A and B are equivalent. And here is another statement. I have given the proof of the second statement. Okay, today I want to start cardinal numbers and cardinal arithmetic. And after the defining these cardinal numbers and cardinal arithmetic, I will show you with the help of these cardinal numbers again another proof of Schroeder-Bernstein theorem. If you like, now in the examination, I don't know in which form it will come, but you have to write it. If it is then in terms of cardinality it come, you use this theorem, this proof. And so now this I am starting this one, this cardinal numbers and cardinal arithmetic. First, cardinal numbers. When A is equivalent to B, what is called equivalent? I have defined it. Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We say that A and B have the same cardinality or same cardinal number. Okay. And this is the notation. This hash and A as the cardinal number of the set A. Cardinality of A. So this cardinality of A and cardinality of B, if it is there equal, then if and only if A is equivalent to B. So if and only means if A is equivalent to B, then this cardinality of these two sets are equal. On the contrary, if you say, if we say that like this, not that is the relation, we say that A has cardinality less than B and B has cardinality greater than A. Now this is for set theoretic notations. I will come to this afterwards. Cardinality greater than A. Now for these two equality, we can restate Schroeder-Bernstein theorem as follows. Okay, as follows. That means the cardinality of A is related to the cardinality of B and cardinality of B is related to the cardinality of A, then this happens. This happens. But if this happens, then this happens. Okay. So this is now, see, notation is very important here. For set theoretic notation, we are using this one. It is not less than equal to. Remember this fact. Now, cardinal number of natural number is denoted as this number. Okay. And cardinal number of the interval is given as this one. Remember that different books introduced different notations for cardinal numbers. Okay. So this is what about the definition of cardinal numbers. I will come to the cardinal arithmetic afterwards. Now this is something history. Cantor is the main architect of cardinality and cardinal numbers. Okay, so you can go through this later words. Okay. Now the question is cardinal arithmetic. We can define arithmetic operations. That is, what are arithmetic operations? That is addition, multiplication, then that is called, what is called this commutation, then distribution. All these properties are known as arithmetic properties. We can define these arithmetic operations on cardinal numbers that generalize the ordinary operations for natural numbers. Okay, it can be shown that for a finite cardinals, remember this fact, finite cardinals, these operations coincide with the usual operations. Okay. Furthermore, these operations share many properties with ordinary arithmetic. That means ordinary arithmetic and cardinal arithmetic remains same when the cardinality is finite. That must be remembered. Okay. Okay. Next thing is that we assume the axiom of choice is true. Axiom of choice. What is axiom of choice? Axiom of choice that you can choose. You are at liberty to choose from a set any number. Okay. Now you cannot prove this. You cannot prove this. That's why it is an axiom. So the cardinal number is thought of an equivalent class of sets due to cardinality. That is, two sets are equivalent, so they follow some equivalence relations. We can show that cardinality relation or equivalent class, this relationship holds between two same cardinality. In other words, if we write a cardinal number as a, say 5, 6, 7, 8, like this, it is understood that it consists of all sets of a given cardinality. That means when all sets of given cardinality. Now this point is very important to be remembered, that when we are considering cardinality of a set, we are not considering the set. We are considering this all the sets having the same cardinality. Okay. So when we write, so when we write this one, we understand that A belongs to the class. A belongs to the class, okay, of A. And for another set B, we write set B exactly when B has the same cardinality as A. In this case, we can write this one. That means A is a class and B is a class. They have the same cardinality. So A and B will be treated as a same set. The cardinality of the empty set phi is 0. Remember this. More generally, the cardinality of a finite set is equal to the number of elements. Okay. Now, suppose A and B are two cardinal numbers. We write A less, now these are numbers. So these will there will be equivalent treatment with the set of natural numbers. So here we write A less than equal to B. If there exists a set, A is contained in B. A is because A corresponds to the cardinality of some set and B corresponds to cardinality to some set. So A is less than B. That means if you take it as a definition, that number of elements, then A must be, A is contained in B, so A must be smaller set. So smaller set means there are smaller number of elements, so less than equal to or same number this one. This is equivalent to the fact that for any set A and B with cardinality of A is A and cardinality of B is B, one is the following equivalent condition holds. One of the following equivalent, either anyone holds. There exists an injective function from A to B. There exists a surjective function from B to A. Okay, these two conditions, one of the following equivalent condition holds. If this holds, it will do. If this holds, it will do. If the both it holds, then it will be some equality. Okay. Next, for two cardinal numbers A and B, now we are not using this symbol for convenience. We use the notation A less than B to indicate that both of these. Okay. If A is less than B, we indicate both of these. It is AND. Remember this fact. It is AND. Another. Now, this is the second proof of the Schroeder-Bernstein. This proof is given by Cantor. Okay, Cantor. So it is sometimes it is called Cantor-Bernstein theorem. Suppose two cardinal numbers A and B satisfy this and this, then A is equal to B. In the in the cardinal number version of this Schroeder-Bernstein theorem. Now proof. Now this proof you hear it very minutely. Fix two sets A and B with cardinality of A as small a and cardinality B of as small b. So there exist injective functions f a to b, and there exists a g function, that is b to a. Okay, we shall construct a bijective function h a to b. Now these two, comprising these two, is corresponds to a bijective function h a to b as we defined before. You see the definition. This is the definition. Okay, so equivalence means there is a function. Now what is equivalence set? You read it. Equivalence sets, there is a function, okay, which is 1 1 and 1 2. So but cardinality ensures that there is f as well as g. Okay, now we shall construct a bijective function a to b. Now our intention is to construct this function h which is bijective. Okay, now hear it attentively. Okay, define sets a0, that is equal to a and deleted gb. Okay, now gb is the set which is from gb, so it will be a member of the a. So a0 is the set comprising elements of a but deleted gb. Okay, and b0 is the set comprising the elements of a but deleted fa. Okay, so remember these two definition. Remember these two definition. Now define recursively. So we have defined a0, then a1 and b1. Similar definition a2 and b2 and so on. Okay, such that a is given, an is given by this relation and bn is given by this relation for n greater than equal to 1. Now first we shall prove that am intersection an is equal to bm intersection bm n for all mn greater than equal to 0. This we have to prove first. Let us first observe this. You have to prove. When n is equal to 0, the case is trivial. A0 and intersection case is trivial. Since we have the inclusions, what is inclusions? Inclusions mean inclusive relations. Inclusions. AM is equal to this set. AM is equal to one index down. Bn is equal to this and An is equal to this. One index down. So here GBm minus 1. And GBm minus 1 is contained in GB. What is GB? GB is the set of A. So GBM minus 1 is contained in GB. G of the set, that is, so B is the bigger one. Every time it is deleted. So all these sets are shorter than its previous one, smaller than its previous one. And this set is included in this set, A0, A minus A0. What is A minus A0? That is A deleted A0. A0 is this set. And BM is, from this definition, BM is this one, and that is also contained in FA. And FA is nothing but this set. You construct a circle. You construct a circle inside another circle, inside another circle with the same center. It will be understood very easily. Next, we prove that the desired property by induction. So this set is contained in this set, and this set is contained in this set. So their intersection is same. Next, we prove the desired property by induction. For case M1 is clear. This forces N to be 0. M is equal to 1, put M is equal to 1 and do the calculation. You will see N must be, N should be 0. Suppose this statement is true for M is equal to K. Then let us prove it for M is equal to K plus 1. That is the induction, method of induction. Start with some N less than K plus 1. If N is equal to 0, it is proved. So assume N is equal to greater than 1. Since F and G both injective, we have AK plus 1 and AN is equal to AK is called in AK is included in AK plus 1 is included in GBK intersection, and GBAN is included in GBN minus 1. So this intersection and this intersection is equal to same. That is equal to, now this can be written as by the rule of the set this, but this one is BK intersection BN minus 1. Which one is? It is a phi. It is final set. There is no intersection of these two sets. But BK plus 1 intersection BN is equal to this intersection this. Then by the rule of the set is also phi. So these two sets are equal. This set and this set are equal. So we are done. So that means the proof is that first claim is, this claim is proved. Claim 1 is proved. Okay. Next is that put C is equal to this set for N greater than equal to 0, and D is equal to this set for N greater than equal to 0. Now we have to prove that F of C is equal to D. F of C is equal to D. Okay. First we prove the inclusion. F will be small one. There is a wrong. It is written wrong. So let me correct it. F of C will be equal to D. So inclusion. Now let small c belongs to the C and assume that F of C does not belong to D, capital D. This means that there exists some N greater than equal to 0 such that FC does not D. What is D? B is the set which excludes the Bn. So If FC does not belong to D, then FC belongs to Bn. Since FC belongs to Fa, f of C belongs to f of A, see here A, and what is Fa is equal to B deleted by B0. We must have n greater than or equal to 1. But then we get Fc belongs to Bn is equal to Fa n minus 1 from our previous knowledge here. Okay, so the injectivity F will force the injectivity, and this is injective function, so C must belong to this. C must belong to this set, which is an impossible, because we have taken that C belongs to C. What is C? C is this one. So C cannot be, small c cannot be in this set. So an minus 1 is there, which is impossible. So this is not true. So this is true. Second, we prove that D contains F. D contains Fc. It will be Fc. It will be Fc. Yes. So make it correction. Save. Okay. Now let D belongs to capital D. First of all, since D belongs to this, and that is nothing but Fa, there exists some C belongs to A such that D belongs to Fc. Now, whether this line is clear or not, you think. There exists some C belongs to A such that D belongs to Fc. Fa is there, so there exists C, some C we must be there, okay, so that D is equal to Fc. Fa, C is a point, this point where C belongs to C, so if C does not belongs to C, then there exists some n greater than 0 such that C belongs to n, and then we get D is equal to Fc, that is Fan is equal to Bn minus 1, but which is impossible from our definition. From our definition, which is impossible. Fan is equal to Bn. This is wrong. Bn plus 1. Bn plus 1. It will be An, f of An, f of An, f of An, and here is Bn. So here it is n minus 1 it would be, but here it is n plus 1. Okay, make it correction. Plus 1. Okay, so which is impossible. So this two impossibility save. So this is impossible. So our assertion is true that D is included in Fc. Now from these two, we can say that this is equal to true. I think you will get some confusion here, but that's why I told you to hear it attentively. You have to remember always these sets. You have to remember always these sets. You try to understand. I will discuss it again and again. Many times I will discuss, and it will be cleared, okay, afterwards. Next is, now these two claim 2 has been proved. That means FC is equal to D. So C is this set and D is this set. So members of C goes to D by means of this function defined here. Okay. Now see, we define a function, a bijection function, that is union of Bn goes to union of B. Now here n greater than equal to 0 and here n greater than equal to 1. Okay. By this how this function phi be defined? Defined like this: phi of B, that means phi belongs to this union starting from 0 if B belongs to Bn, capital Bn, when n is odd. That means n is equal to 1, 3, 5, so on. And f of g, phi plays the role of f of g. There is composition of f and g if B belongs to Bn, but if it is there in 2, 4, and so on. It starts from 0 and it goes to n. This is because the function has been defined like this. Here, you see. Okay, you see. So, always remember that one. Now, claim 3. The function map phi defines a bijection. Defines a bijection. Okay, it is clear that phi on Bn is injective. This Bn, injective. It is injective function. And the phi, the map phi is injective. Notice also that for n greater than 0 is even, when n greater than 0 and it is even, then phi of Bn, it is even, then phi of Bn, that is f of g of Bn, is equal to f a. In what is the definition? G of Bn. G of Bn is, you see the definition again. G of Bn is An. Okay. So G of Bn is An plus 1 and f An plus 1. You see the definition again. Here it is n minus 1 and here it is Bn. So it will be Bn plus 2. Okay. When n is greater than 0, n is odd, we have phi of Bn is equal to Bn from this. So we have indeed the equality. We have indeed the equality. Okay. Next is that now we define psi. Psi is a function from An to B. Here phi is a function from Bn to B. Here An to B. By psi is equal to this one. This is the definition. Now this is injective function, and psi of, you check this one, psi of union of An is equal to phi inverse f. F of union of An, psi of f, that is phi inverse of f. Okay, that is phi inverse and f of An, because I have not written one step. It should be phi inverse of f, then it should be like this. Phi inverse of f, phi inverse of f of union, that is union an, okay, like this. So this can be written as phi inverse union FAN, because these two are commutative operation. Okay, so that I want to tell you. Okay, now okay, this one phi of FAN. So phi inverse, what is FAN? FAN is nothing but FAN is nothing but here. FAN is, what is that? FAN is BN. Okay, so you can see it again. BN plus 1 unit higher, and this is nothing but phi inverse Bn plus 1 is Bn, and phi inverse, so it will go phi. What is the definition of phi? Check it again. So it will go to n is equal to 1 to n. So n2, that means 1 unit higher. So you come here, 1 unit lower, phi inverse 1 unit lower. So, and this is nothing but this. So these two are equal. So this defines a bijection. Okay. Now, if we combine psi with this bijection F, that is, we define a map H, Hx is equal to psi x, if x belongs to this union, and Hx is equal to Fx if x belongs to A deleted union An, this set. Okay. So we combine psi with this bijection. That means that psi, what is defined here, okay, this is a combination of phi and F. That psi is combined with F. We map A. You can see this map. F is here also F, but phi inverse is there. So Hx, clearly Hx is injective. And H of B, H is, what is H? Psi of here, this one, union here, FC. What is this set? What is this set? C. Here is C. So what is this set? This is nothing but, this set is nothing but C. So union C. So this is equal to union D. FC and D is same, and A union of AN, union of BN is same. So this is D. So which confirms that HX is bijective. That means bijective means from here to A to B is a bijective mapping. So this is Bernstein theorem in the cardinality section. In the cardinality, now you try to read this theorem one by one after many times. You have to read it many times. Okay, because this is very important theorem. I don't know in which form it will be there. Now this theorem, I'll discuss the theorem many times. Okay, many times I will discuss the theorem, because it is not so easy to understand this one. Okay, but this type of sets, this type of things, next one, it will not be clear in just one class. Okay, this part, particularly this part, I have to give some examples. I'll do it later, but first go through it. And first understand this 3-1, that's there are three parts of this theorem. First part is here, claim 1. Second part, and always try to remember this one very nicely, this part. And our intention is to construct to bijective this mapping, and we have to prove that H is a bijective. And after all, H will be a combination of two functions, two mapping, and these two mapping are defined here. One is here, one is this mapping, and another is this mapping. Okay, after this we have defined a combined psi with f, but psi is already is a combination of phi inverse with f. Okay, so this step is very crucial step, don't make any mistake. So you have to read it several times before complete understanding. Okay, now these are very easy, and because these are defined, so we define a plus b is equal to cardinality of S, where S is any set which is in the form A union B. So union converted to this algebraic properties of plus, okay, provided cardinality of A is defined as A, small a, and cardinality of B is defined as small b, and there is not a common element between A and B. These two conditions must be satisfied to hold for this relationship. Okay, and this two condition also, this condition is the multiplication, cardinal multiplication, where P is the set of A cross B, that is Cartesian product, and this one is cardinality of A is equal to A and cardinality of B is equal to B. Then you can say P is the cardinality of A cross B. Okay, and this is the exponential A to the power B cardinality of X, where X is any set which is of this form, this one. That means A1 into A2 into A3 into A4. With this help of this, you can do it. Okay, A to the power B. X is any set which is of the form this. So A1, A2, A3, A4. Number of elements is A. Okay, with I is equal to B, cardinality of I is equal to B, and cardinality of AI is equal to A. All the cardinality are same. All the cardinality of AI are same for all I. Equivalently, if we take two sets A and B with cardinality of A and this one, and if we define A to the power B is equal to the, and C function from B to A, so A to the power B is equal to cardinality of A to the power capital A to the power capital B. Now these three 1, 2, 3, 4 definitions are very, very important for doing sums. It is a never formidable task to show these definitions are correct, in the sense that they do not depend on the particular choice of the sets involved. Moreover, these equations are consistent with the usual operations in natural number. So I will ask you to write down the proof of these theorems. This 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now the last one, the operations with cardinal numbers defined above satisfy these commutation relations with respect to addition, that is distribution with respect to addition, where A and B are cardinal numbers, and this is the additive identity, and this is the multiplicative commutation, then this is the multiplicative distribution, and this is the multiplicative addition, multiplicative inverse identity, and this is the what is called this is the distribution property, and this is the exponential property. So for all these cardinal numbers A, B, D greater than 1. Okay, greater than equal to 1. So this tomorrow in the next class I will again discuss. You just go through this one and try to remember this line. This, try to remember this. If we write a cardinal number as A, it is understood that A consists of all sets of a given cardinality. Suppose we are considering a set with cardinality, say 2. Then this 2 represents all the set having cardinality 2. So from cardinality of a set, we are considering simple natural number. Okay. So when we write this, we write all the sets having the cardinality A. Okay. The cardinality of the empty set is 0. So remember this fact always. So when you are doing sums on cardinality here, using there, you see that all the sets of cardinality A are considered here. Okay. And you remember this one also. This one also. That when plus is there, then in the corresponding set, it will be union. With for plus, this union is true as well as this is also true. For multiplication, this is true. So saying this and saying this is equivalent. Saying this and saying this is equivalent. Saying this and saying this and this are equivalent. Similarly here. Okay. So remember this fact. I don't know in which form the question will come. It may come in the set theoretic, that is quoting the sets. It may come as a quoting the cardinal numbers. Okay. So remember this one. And remember these properties of the cardinal numbers. So what is the, maybe there may be a question like what is the correspondence of this and this? Go there. So A plus B is equal to B plus A. So A plus B means these two condition holds, and B plus A means these two condition holds. Okay. Here B union A and B intersection A. Okay. So in this way you have to remember this fact. Okay. In the next class I will continue with this, and in the next class I will finish this whatever I told you yesterday. Partial order space is done. This is done. Cardinal numbers is done. Then Cantor's theorem, continuum of hypothesis. In the next class, if this cardinal numbers and cardinal arithmetic is clear, then these are very easy. Okay. Okay then.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. I am stopping the recording.